Hello and welcome to Eat Sleep Code, the official Telerik podcast. I'm your host, Ed Charbeneau, and with me is my wonderful co-host, John Bristowe. How are you doing, John?
Wonderful. Well, that remains to be seen.
It's been a big release week for the .NET folks again. Got a
Yes.
couple headlines here for the .NET crew. ASP.NET Core release candidate 2 is out, so we're in
hmm
RC mode. Um,
Yes.
with the release candidates, a lot less features are shipping that are new if you're following all of the previews. So all the previews have now kind of cumulatively updated into the release candidate, so you can see more of a overview of all those changes. And some of the ones that are really worth mentioning in here, TypeScript client stateful reconnect support. That is huge. I don't know if you've done any type or uh, Signal R stuff, John, but
I
being
have.
able to
Yes.
have stateful reconnection is a big deal. So that is a nice addition that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully this kind of segues into other stateful reconnection things happening with other parts of the framework. So Blazor relies heavily on SignalR if you're using it on the server side. So the more SignalR goodies we get, the more Blazor goodness we get. So I like that. Blazor has gotten a huge overhaul in this release. We can't even go through all these. It's over an hour just to discuss all of the things that happened there. But the gist of it is they're going with more of a progressive enhancement style approach, which is really nice because you can write a Blazor app that does server side rendering but has like no interactivity. So you're just like generating HTML off the server, like old school days. And you can do full postbacks and all of that stuff. You don't even really need any JavaScript or anything like that to do, what the web has done for nearly 20 years with forms and whatnot. And then you can mix in, do I want to have interactivity? Am I going to use the server to do that interactivity? Use some SignalR on the back end and do like a thin
Yep.
client operation with it, which is classically called Blazor Server? Or do I want to use WebAssembly? Or do I want to let the application decide based on what the client has already loaded as far as dependencies on whether I should use the server or WebAssembly? So what Blazor can do now is it can stream resources while the server's doing the interactivity, and then when you revisit the page and you already have all of the dependencies cached, it switches over to WebAssembly and runs everything client side. So this is like really powerful stuff. All came in .NET 8. It's like a big tidal wave of changes, and all of them are positive. We also have updates in just .NET in general, which also includes ASP.NET Core, like I just mentioned, but just
hmm
big, big sweeping changes across the board with .NET 8. There's always performance increases in here, which I think this blog post goes mainly into. But yeah, it's going to be a great November for .NET folks. Why November? Because that's when it
What's
all
interesting
ships,
about
right?
all this is that this is a release candidate, but they're still adding new features by the looks of it.
Yes, they are, John. Um, I laugh because I was trying to submit a pull request on something, and the team was like, "Oh, we have our changes locked in. Maybe it'll get in .NET 9." And then as I'm submitting my pull request, like there's still like this tidal wave of changes hitting, and
Introducing blah blah blah. It's like, okay.
I'm doing a PR and I'm hitting like this merge conflict on all these new things that came in RC2. And if you look at the
Mm,
Blazor part of it here, we drop down. All of this um, templating stuff got added in the last release in this current
mm.
release candidate.
Release candidate, yeah.
So like all of this file new project stuff and identity templates and all of that just got
Right.
peeked in at the last minute. So yeah, exciting stuff there. And if you want to learn more about it, .NET Conf is just a month away. So .NET Conf 2023. This happens every year now that we have yearly
Yes.
releases of .NET. And I have been fortunate enough for the last couple of years to have a session at .NET Conf. And
Hey.
this year, you might recognize a familiar face. I'm going to talk about
Hey, there you
integrating
go.
Blazor with existing .NET web apps.
Look at you. Look at you.
So I don't know if you know this, John. You don't do a lot of Blazor. You know of it. I don't know if you've written any apps with it or tinkered with it.
I
But,
haven't written any apps, but I have done Hello World a couple of times.
okay. So did you
So
know?
that makes me an expert.
Yeah. Did you know that you can use the Blazor component model, which is known as Razor components, with MVC and Razor pages?
Yes, I did know that.
Awesome. You can even, mix pieces of your application to be all three of those things. You can have a Blazor
Yes,
page,
it's the peanut
an
butter and
MVC
chocolate.
page.
It's the peanut butter and chocolate
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah. So it's more of a banana split because we've got MVC, Razor pages, Blazor, and then did you also know you could take Razor components and export them kind of outside of the .NET ecosystem and use those in like an Angular app? It's pretty
I
wild.
heard
But you
smatterings
can.
of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I'm going to talk about that. And I've only got 30 minutes to do it, so
Okay.
I got to like boil that all down into a nice session for .NET Conf. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you
Beautiful.
bookmark the entire 2 days of .NET Conf for all of that. I think it's 2 days. This says day 1. It's all in one page. Yeah, day 2 is 3 days. 3 days of .NET Conf. So these sessions actually run 24 hours, which is just bonkers. So this is like
Nice.
2 full days. It's not like 2 like conference days of .NET. It is 2 full like 24-hour day cycles of
Yes.
.NET.
Yes.
Um,
Can I throw a curveball at you, by the way?
sure.
Same rough date. If you go to octopus.com and just go to our homepage for just a second, if you don't mind, please and thank you. We have an event occurring on the 15th as well. So at the top, you'll see a link that says Shipped 23. See, it's all in the title there. Shipped 23 at the top. Yeah, just click that. This is I didn't include this in the notes. I should have. I apologize. But this is our all-day virtual event that we're doing. And we're doing it to spite the .NET team. I'm kidding. But this is our all-day event that we're running for customers who are using Octopus or are maybe curious about Octopus. So you can click on the schedule link, which is a little bit further down on the page on the left-hand side. And we have a bunch of sessions that we'll be running throughout the day. If you're at all curious about how to ship software, especially if you're a .NET developer, for example, or any other type of developer for that matter, mainframes, phones, I'm just kidding. But yeah, check us out. So octopus.com/shipped is the website. We've got our schedule there. Paul's going to be speaking along with many others, and I look forward to seeing you there. So we've got this just announced. So we did this strategically to compete with .NET Conf, obviously. So
Yeah. I mean, that just seems shady. Like you guys planned this from the get-go.
oh, we totally
Or
planned it, dude. Yeah,
did you?
totally.
Yeah. I
Come at me, Microsoft. I'm kidding.
I just throw my code over that wall anyway, so I'll probably be
Sure.
focused on
It
.NET,
compiles.
but
Ship it.
I know some
Yes.
folks that cross over into the DevOpsy space and do all of the GitHub actions and the YAMLs and all of that.
Yep.
So
The
yeah,
YAMLs.
nice.
I like it.
Speaking of shameless
go.
plugs and
There you go.
conferences and whatnot, along with the .NET release candidate, we released our third release of the year with our Telerik products and our Kendo
Yes.
UI products. And
Yes.
we are shipping this also in line with the release candidate, so we support the release candidate. So we're testing these things alongside Microsoft as they release previews, and it's being supported by our support team. So if you're on the bleeding edge,
Lovely.
make sure you grab our latest bits along with the release candidate. And even if you're not,
the the
grab
the
the
uh, the bleeding edge always uh, puts thoughts of like like a paper cut, sort of
yeah.
thing. So yeah, very close to the edge. Sorry.
Yeah, if you're not on the bleeding edge, there's still great updates in here that you could take advantage of, new components, new theming capabilities, all sorts of great stuff. I won't go into detail. If you want to go into detail with us, join us next week, October 18th, 19th, and 20th for our webinars. You can sign up for those at telerik.com/webinars, or hit the banner at the top of the telerik.com page.
Beautiful.
All right, let's get into some tech news, John. 16 things you believe about software. What is this about, John?
Yes. This was an interesting article that I caught. It's basically it's a little bit of an honest disposition of what we like as developers. This is from a gentleman by the name of Justin Searls. He came up with the Searls-Briggs Type Indicator. The Briggs personality profile is a well-known personality profile, so he calls this one the Searls-Briggs Type Indicator. But basically, it's a set of things that, based on his results, which is of 7,000 developers, what matters the most to us as a species, as a group. I don't know, what do you want to call us? A murder of developers. And this is the summary of those results. So, number one, boring code is A-OK with us. Number two, I'll go through it because there's lots. Number two, don't hold back details. Show us the big picture. So we like to see the big picture when discussing architecture, etc. Number three, consistency is worth an consistency is worth an autonomy compromise. So the idea is that when you're really dealing with software, obviously this is very, very important. Obviously, so this is around coding styles, obviously. So number four is it scrolls. Blank page syndrome is real, but distributed evenly. So this is basically like, whenever you launch Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio or ReSharp or whatever, when you're staring at that cursor and it's giving you that taunting blink blink, it's very real. Aesthetically pleasing code is worth some
good
extra.
about,
Sorry,
sorry, I got a little tip. The generative language stuff is really good for that. Just go into like
Yes.
ChatGPT and bust out that
Yes. Agreed.
that auto generation.
So
Like, give
Copilot.
me ideas for X, Y, and Z, and it's pretty good at helping.
Copilot is totally Jesus take the wheel sort of technology to me. It's like, just spit it out. That's right. Aesthetically pleasing code is worth some extra effort. There you go. Number six, there's no point in well-crafted waste of time. So, tell me the news, not the weather. Don't give me excuses, give me results. Number seven, future us will thank past us for all those commit messages. This is definitely
I'm bad
true.
about that one. On my
fix this bug.
My personal projects, yes. It's like commit is like dot.
Sure.
That's the minimal input I can use.
Number eight, aggressive deadlines won't get it done faster. So it's the analogy of nine people can't make a baby in 1 month sort of thing. Number nine, exploring new technology is exciting and fun. That is true. I think that developers like to experiment. So you can see the disposition there of developers. Number 10, transparency is an unalloyed good. So what this means is that if you've got metrics to share, for example, code coverage, test coverage, observability, etc., always a good thing. Number 11, sorry, we've got 16 to go. Don't ask us how any of this works. I think a lot of us don't really understand the software we're building sometimes. We're very feature focused and the big picture is lost on us. So it's hard to see the forest between the trees.
I used
Number
to have
12
a quote at the bottom of my emails that said, it's simple unless you want to get into the complexities of how it really works.
Yes. Number 12, proper testing is worth slowing down the ship. And sometimes those ships are slow to turn. So like in the analogy is like an aircraft carrier. So Number 13, give us new problems to solve, and people know change is nice. Being able to work with new folks is nice. Resetting defaults, resetting assumptions, all that stuff always helps. Number 14, we're going fast. Long method definitions make us feel claustrophobic. I think anyone who's written unit tests will probably understand what this means. But I mean, there's reasons for doing that, I think. But also, long method definitions they can also probably include the cyclomatic complexity of a method. And then number 15, it's worth taking the time to deliberate on design. I totally agree. Being able to chat about the way we're going to tackle a problem, not just kind of allocate points and estimates. And dog barks. And number 16, I think your dog agreed with that one. And number 16, the future of software is mostly bright. So this is basically like folks, thinking about, how they're generating software. I think AI may have had some positive impacts on this. So there you go. That's 16 things that you should believe about software.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep the mic muted as much as possible because
No
of
one,
whatever's going
no one
on
cares
there.
about a dog barking. Just go. Just go. It's a live show. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, why not? So, yeah. Let me see here, John. Talk about this real quick. I'm gonna go see.
Sure. We'll mute
what's
me
happening.
and then we'll talk about this. All right. So this is a recent blog post by the folks over at Cloudflare. I am a huge fan of theirs. They help mitigate a lot of attacks. They're great for DNS hosting. They're great for a bunch of things. And this was a recent article that they posted about a exploit that they saw in the wild called an HP2 rapid reset. And so this is the deconstruction of what actually was happening. So for those who don't know, HP2 has, as part of its protocol, the ability to submit requests and then cancel those requests. And this is useful in the case of wanting to stop requests and because requests can be canceled in the event of some kind of event or whatnot. And the problem with that is that you can get these rather large and malicious resets occurring. And so they discovered this in the wild with a modestly sized botnet of about 20,000 machines, which is not large. And they were seeing this in the wild where people were able to DDoS websites based on this. So the idea is that you would send a request and then immediately send a reset, or sorry, a reset, and then cycle that over and over and over again. And this resulted in 502s being returned by the web server. So HP2 Rapid Reset is this exploit that's been discovered by Cloudflare and others. And so this is the high-level blog post for your sort of chief security officer of what they need to know. But the second one that Ed was showing first was the one that kind of deconstructs it and how it works. I thought it was fascinating. I love stuff like this. I don't love the fact that this is happening, but when something like this happens and people take the time to write about it, deconstruct it, show what's happening, not only the how, but the why, it's awesome. And so, yeah, if you're all interested, go look at Cloudflare's blog. They do a lot of great posts. I'm a huge fan of their stuff, but I love engineering blog posts like this. So there you go.
Thanks for covering for me there, John.
No worries. That was me tap dancing. How do you
All
like
of that for an Amazon package.
There you go.
She is a friendly
You
dog
never know,
with
Ed.
family.
Yeah, those Amazon packages can hurt you and all those you care about in your home. So dogs have to protect us.
She's a friendly dog with family. Anybody outside the family, she will chew their ankles off. She's one of those the little ones that think she's giant.
The ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got another engineering post in here for you in just a second. I'm trying to pick up back where I was. This is a new framework that is in beta right now over at Microsoft. This has to do with the large language models. So if you're building a plugin, which I guess they're changing the name from skill to plugin for a large language model or something like OpenAI, this is the library for you. So I don't know too much about it other than it is brand new and it is in beta, and I just caught wind of it the other day. I haven't had time to really dig into the details, but if this large language model stuff, ChatGPT, OpenAI,
Mm.
is of interest to you, go to Microsoft's website and check out this new .NET Semantic Kernel SDK.
This
You want
reads, if you had told me this was an article for ML, I would have believed you.
to?
So it reads almost identical.
It does. You can get ChatGPT to maybe explain this post to you. That might
Yes,
help.
that's right.
Like, I think that's what you're getting at,
We're
right?
going so meta. What's the meaning
Yeah.
of life? Yeah.
But there was some big changes, but it's in early beta, so you kind of expect that anyway. But if
Yep.
you want to build a a plugin for one of these systems, like this is your bread and butter for it. It's all
Okay.
new breaking ground area, so check that out. And speaking of AI, John, this is the real like heavy hitter for the show today. Like I was so excited
Oh,
about
good.
this. I was like, join us on Eat Sleep Code because there's so much happening today. But when you
Just hit me.
think about AI and like technical innovation stuff like that, a lot of people think Apple, Microsoft. Um, I know a lot of people think Adobe, but maybe not first thought, right? But
Oh,
Adobe
God. Are you kidding? They're
is
doing some
just
amazing things with AI.
doing, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had a conference called Adobe Max today,
Yes.
and they were just hitting it out of the park like for hours, and I was just
Hmm.
astonished. Um, they have this,
You can't rebroadcast it, Ed. You can't rebroadcast it.
yeah.
Stop it.
I'm not going to rebroadcast the whole thing, but we will take a couple screenshots here and talk about the highlights. This was the Adobe Max sneaks, which is like sneak previews of things they're working on.
Yes.
And I'm going to
Yes.
jump into about the 6 minute mark here. And we're doing like content aware fill, right? And
Yes. Yes.
content aware fill.
Yes, of course. I do this all the time in Photoshop. I actually know a few things about Photoshop. So,
Yeah, and it's that content aware fill is not a person. It's not Phil. It's FILL. So content aware fill is when you grab a piece of imagery. You want to for this example, they want to get rid of the people here. So you put a loop around it, and you say in this selection, use generative AI to fill this photo with something other than
something.
these
Yeah.
people. And since they're blocking some of the background, AI jumps in and kind of interprets the scene however it sees fit. What's really cool about the Adobe products is they offer alternatives. So you'll get like 4 panes that show up. It'll be like, do you want
Right.
to show like, this type of scenery, a bridge? Do you want water here? Whatever it is. So check this out. So they do the whole content aware fill deal here, and they generate something to overlap these people, and boom, the people are gone, right? And here's your options over here to the right.
Yes.
But what's really interesting about this is it's not just doing generative fill on an image in Photoshop, but this is a video content
Yep.
aware fill. So
Yep.
one frame of the video selected, and then this is full motion
Yes.
filling for
Yes.
each frame. Really awesome stuff. They went
Yes, it
on to
is.
talk about it, and they're like, all right, let's take this guy's shirt. We want to add a tie. It
Yes.
suggests a bunch of white ties, so they end up picking the black tie, and then play the video, and the guy's walking with
Yes.
full motion video with this new tie on the shirt. Like this is really cool stuff. Like
It
this
is.
is
It is
just
very cool.
amazing
This is
AI.
stuff that normally a human would have to do in post for
Mm-hmm.
hours, and this is the basis of all Hollywood. Basically, this is what
Yeah.
Hollywood does a lot. And so, being able to just turn it to a large language model and saying, "Hey, do something," is pretty awesome. I'm not often impressed by technology, but this is very impressive.
Yep. And viewer King of COD, shoot me a message. We'll see what I can do to help you. All right, I'm gonna fast forward here to about 32 minutes in. I don't know if you saw this one, John. This one I saw a clip of on social media.
That
And
dress is crazy. That's like, you know,
yeah,
what's that movie with what's her name where they kill everyone? They kill
Kill
each other.
Bill. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about. The movie where they
oh my
kill
God,
everyone.
it's the Mockingjay thing.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
She looks like
Uh,
that. That's crazy.
so I thought this was an
Hunger
augmented
Games. Sorry,
reality
Hunger
video.
Games. That's a total Hunger Games dress right there.
Yeah, my first thought was this is AR. Like I thought this was like a, somebody was showing off an app that you can hold up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see the
Are
different
those
dresses.
LEDs?
They are panels. They are LED panels, I believe.
Uh, where's the battery?
So,
God.
I
She's like, yeah, turn around. Let's see the battery
yeah,
pack strapped to your back.
yeah. Maybe that's why she's crossing her arms behind her. No, I mean,
Yeah,
if it's using like a what is that stuff? E-paper technology. There's not a lot of
yeah, yeah.
power involved in
No,
it.
not a lot of power draw. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, the real energy spend there is changing them. So this is pretty wild, and I think they even put like a motion sensor in it, and
Oh, okay.
the demo didn't work the first time, you know, as tech demos
That's
go,
okay.
but eventually
She's
she
not
got
doing a
this
full
to
turn.
work.
That battery is in her hands or something, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So
she had to turn it off and on again. It's running Windows. It's running
that's okay.
Windows in the background. Now there it goes. So it's got like the splash animation
Oh, wow.
triggered
That's
by
amazing.
her movement, which that's pretty cool. I mean, this is just
That is
amazing
very
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
That's very Hunger Games. That to me that's very Hunger Games. Sorry.
So these are just two highlights of an entire hour of stuff that you're just like, holy cow, I can't believe they did that. There's
Yep.
another tool in here somewhere. It was more AI generative stuff. This tool
Right.
was absolutely amazing if you've ever done any 3D, 2D vector
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. 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 hmm
So the real what do you call it, like technical thing here, or like wow factor, I guess, isn't so much the tech as it is the UX. So this is like in an in-browser application. So for one,
Yes.
it's running on the web, and it's doing all of these really nice 3D modeling techniques that
Yeah. Adobe's all in on the web. They've got
yeah,
Photoshop on the web. They've got all kinds of other products on the web. They've been doing this for years now.
but
So they're all in.
they've
So
really taken the 3D modeling stuff and like turned UX on its head a little bit. Like 3D modeling is
sure.
traditionally very difficult, and they've
Yes.
kind of got like a different look at how to make these models and do some of the things that you normally do in 3D modeling, like carving and all of that, but it does it in such an intuitive way. Like I feel like I could just pick this up and run with it. And I haven't done
Yeah.
any 3D modeling in many, many years.
I have, and
It's just
they are nightmare tools. Like if you've ever
yeah.
used something
Oh
like
yeah.
Alias Wavefront or anything like that, the amount of stuff that comes into your brain in terms of the tools is insane.
Put it into perspective. The first time I did 3D modeling, I installed 3ds Max. I looked at the
And
user
then
interface
uninstalled it.
for it and then uninstalled it. I was like, there's no way,
Yeah.
like without
Yep.
some kind of
Yep.
like university, am I going to be able to use this thing? And then later on, I reinstalled it and
Yeah.
got a little more familiar with it with some one-on-one help
After
from a
After
friend.
Effects is kind of like that as well. After
Yeah.
Effects is a bit daunting the first time you load it up. You're like, what is this?
But when I say UX features, this is one of them. Watch this. Like the
Mm.
ability to just put these two spheres together and then click a
hmm
button and they blend together like that. Like you used to have to go through so many hoops to make a 3D object do what this is doing. Look at it do it in real time too. So I think the
Yeah,
real
I think they're using
innovation.
WebAssembly if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think they're targeting WebAssembly if I remember correctly. I remember like a Photoshop, Illustrator. There's a bunch of products from Adobe that they're experimenting with at the moment for the web. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, cool stuff. Make sure you check out the video in its entirety. There's just so much to see there. I was just glued to all these things all afternoon. And then speaking of AI, John, have you ever wanted to hide from it? Like, are you
all,
like
ev-
wary of
all the time,
the
all the time.
oncoming robot apocalypse? Like, do you
Yes,
want
the
to
robot
hide?
replacements.
This is
Yes.
one of those engineering stories I think you'll love.
Ah,
This is University of Maryland Computer and Science Division. Their students were tasked with trying to hide from like AI.
okay.
So he's hidden from the AI. He is cloaked from the AI. Do you know how?
Sweater.
His sweater.
That
His
sweater is
sweater.
awful. That's
The
like a Christmas
sweater.
sweater.
So if you look at this picture though, like this is
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
Bounding
what
box.
he's
Those are called
wearing.
bounding boxes. Yeah, those are
But
bounding boxes. This is a classic computer science problem. Bounding boxes around objects for identification, etc. And we do that because drawing four dots and connecting lines between them is computationally very simple. That's why we do
yeah,
that.
but basically the sweater is this image. Like if you look at it, like you can see it.
So he's reflecting.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of like blind to its
So he's
own.
messing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's messing with the vision. He's messing
yeah,
with the vision algorithms, basically.
yeah.
Yes, that sweater.
It's
That sweater.
brilliant.
That computer. That's Christmas. Yeah, it's a Christmas sweater. Now he's got to be wearing some kind of material on top, isn't he?
No, it's just the pattern throws it
Well,
off. I
that
believe
pattern
it's just the
in
pattern.
particular is what? Okay, interesting.
See,
See, there are moments where it does do the bounding box around him. You can see how it sometimes sees him with
hmm
the sweater on, but that
yeah.
sweater, oh man, I want to get that sweater for Christmas. That is awful.
See, just holding it up in front of him is confusing it.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks, I guess, like scenery. So he's just a head floating above scenery. I think it's
Well, the
kind of the
algorithms
idea here.
themselves will detect. So the algorithms itself will do what are called, you know, cousin. They'll do cousin detection, basically, like pixel on pixel, and then
See,
it will do a radius based on the pixel. Yeah, yeah. So it's
it's trying
detecting
to
things that are
find
on the map
people
there. So
inside the shirt, so it's
yes,
confusing him with the scenery. So a brilliant fix to a problem. I thought that was really cool.
great, great applications in a classroom. Not so great on the battlefield. Battlefield results were not
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah, I it was sponsored apparently by Facebook, so hopefully Facebook
Okay.
isn't putting things on the battlefield, but you never know. I mean, the HoloLens went
No,
there,
no,
so
they're not doing those sponsorship programs. By the way, from a corporate perspective, are very generic and large, and they don't tell students like go investigate this. So
so did
yeah,
I don't know if I talked about this on the show or not. We might have covered it, but there was another one of these that they did with the military, and they put like this very expensive AI detection system in place, and the Marines were looking at it, and they were like, "Yeah, I think we can fool this." And they went like inside of a cardboard box and crawled through the room, and were never detected.
sure,
It
sure,
was
yeah.
like this multi-million-dollar system that was fooled by a cardboard box.
It's
It was
like
absolutely hilarious.
it's like it's like the Osimo from South Park when Cartman dresses up like a robot to trick Butters that he's a robot that he won in a game or something. So yeah, there you go.
Here's another one of those tech stories you might really enjoy, John. Microsoft launches a new web app store for Windows. That's the headline, but that's not really what the article is about. The article is about how they built it. So they're talking about the stack here. It is built with Shoelace, Lit, Vite, and ASP.NET on the back end.
Yep,
So apparently
yep.
the original store was wrote in React,
Hmm.
and they chose to go with Vite for some reason. I'm not familiar with Vite, so I don't know the decision making behind that. But they re-engineered the entire thing in a quote more modern web stack. And yeah, it's
So
kind of a
Vite
short
is
and sweet
from
post,
Evan
but
Yu, who's the he's the co-creator of God, I'm blanking. It's not Angular. It's not
um,
React. It's the third one.
Vue was it Vue?
Um, Vue. Sorry, Vue engine. Yes. Sorry, not Vue engine. What am I saying? Vue.js. Right. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wrote
Chat's
Vite
chiming
as
in
part
with
of that.
Vue as well.
Sorry. Yeah, I blanked on that.
With all of the front end tech that they have available, Microsoft, producing Blazor and everything. I'm interested in why they chose Fight, but they did. So yeah, it's short and sweet. So like, here's
Yeah,
what we used. Not going into too many deep details about it, but that's what we're running on.
I know that I did read recently that Lit 3.0 shipped recently. I did see
Mhm.
that, but I haven't explored it at all. So there's just too much stuff on the front end stuff to, you know, track.
All right, John. How I made a heap overflow in curl. What's this
Who,
about,
me?
John?
That's right. Yeah, Daniel Steinberg is the creator and maintainer of curl, which is a very, very popular tool. It is basically the ability to uh, issue HTTP requests on the command line. That's a very butchered explanation of it, but basically, this is another technical breakdown involving the way that the program handles state internally, and as a result, there was a CVE as a result of this, and so they had to issue an update, etc. But technical breakdown of how this occurred, and he's not using it as an excuse because I think there were some rumblings of curl. Maybe it wasn't curl, but it was Windows certainly adapting Rust, and people would be like, "Well, if you didn't write it in C and wrote like you noob, you should have written it in Rust." I'm like, "Dude, the guy's been maintaining it for years." But yeah, it was exploit that was discovered as a result. So just a breakdown of what the exploit was, not the exploit, but the heap overflow. Sorry.
I love when you have something that's like 10 years old and they're like, you should have just wrote it in this brand new thing that only started a year ago.
I know. I know.
Introducing Pulumi, easy,
Yeah, so
secure
Plumi Escape.
environments.
I'm calling it Escape. I'm sure people are calling it ESC, but the acronym is not lost on me because every time I see that acronym, it's Escape in my terms. But
I thought it was eat, sleep, code.
ESC,
That's just me.
that's right. So it's environments. I think it's environment something and credentials. It's basically like a vault provider. Pulumi ESC rather, ECS, environment security and configuration. My apologies. Environments, secrets, and configuration. Basically, anything you want to store in a secure way, in a robust manner. This is
Hmm.
not a new product, by the way, relative to the industry. It is for Pulumi, and Pulumi's got a large, strong following. So, oh, that's nice. Aztec Consulting. So yeah, so this is something that you can check out if you're all curious. Certainly something that you can use as part of a pipeline. There's a CLI as part of CLI integration as part of this as well, so you can access your environments, your secrets, your configs directly via the CLI. And here's they're showing an example from left to right of how you might interact with ECS, ESC rather, ECS.
Hmm.
So yeah, I call it just Pulumi Escape. Escape to Plumi. This is a place you want to be. Maybe that's why they named it that. I don't know. So
It's good security awareness. Keeps all your secrets out of GitHub where they don't belong.
I was just thinking that's a good tagline for this show. Escape to eat to eat sleep code. It's like Aztec was saying. It's like it is my escape. So not only it's my acronym, it's also my escape. There you go.
I mean, you gotta have somewhere to go for entertainment near the end of the week, so it
I know.
works out well.
This stuff writes itself, man.
And and then you have the real bangers like what we're about to talk about, John. We haven't had one of these in a while, but can it play Doom, John?
Beautiful.
In it in the latest episode of Can It Play Doom, you gotta have a couple of those stingers. They're just too good. Um, this actually isn't
Oh,
Doom, but it
GTA
fits
5 on a
in the
smartwatch. I love it.
maybe it needs to be updated to Can It Play GTA 5? So Xbox Cloud Gaming, somebody dropped
This is
the
cheating.
yeah,
This is cheating.
it's streaming. It's game streaming. It's not
Yes.
actually running
It's
on
not.
hardware.
It's not. Yes. Yes.
So the host or the thin client, I guess, is running. The thin
Yeah.
client is running on hardware, and then you can
Yes.
stream the game to the hardware. So they're just using it kind of as a thin client. but it's still cool nevertheless.
Yeah.
That
Good effort.
the watch has good enough resolution to view the game, and then enough hardware to
Wait, you don't pay for premium, bro?
give
You don't pay for YouTube Premium?
I mean, that's a really nice screen on there, I think, is one of the things that allows this to happen. That these little watches and devices have such good high-res screens now. But he's got
There you
the
go.
Xbox
There you
Live
go.
subscription running
Oh, yeah.
there. Little Xbox Game Pass, some GTA, and
Beautiful.
apparently you can hook a Bluetooth controller to it. So why not, John?
Now,
I mean,
rather than showing the cut screen, is there a screen where he's actually playing?
he is playing.
Oh, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. That was a cut
Yeah.
screen before. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually playing here. He's got the Xbox controller wirelessly connected. It's streaming.
It looks
to
like
the
it's got a little bit of
device.
latency in there. A little bit of latency from what I can see.
Probably. It's probably the Bluetooth, really.
Yeah. Okay.
The Bluetooth is notorious for latency, and if you're on
I
a
hate
watch,
Bluetooth. Oh, Bluetooth as an overall protocol totally sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
So
Anyways.
Bluetooth on the watch probably isn't like the most performant version of that chipset. You know what I mean? It's like, what does it have to do?
Yeah.
Push updates to your phone, not like hear inputs from a controller in real time. But even on the PC, I cannot tolerate gaming with Bluetooth headphones. There's too much of a delay in gaming with Bluetooth headphones. You take like a real-time shooter, for example, like you're dead before the gunshots are fired. Like you can't play anything massive multiplayer. But this is neat. I thought it was cool. I love when people like repurpose gadgets. So that's it for the week, John. That's the last one, but that was my Can It Play Doom for the day. We haven't had one of those in a bit. I'm sure this is more than capable of playing Doom with all the features that it has.
We'll need a cut trailer produced for why are they doing this in VR now, or something to that effect, you know?
We'll do that next week when I
just for me. Do it for me.
When I bring my Quest on stream. Like we need to play
I can't wait.
Doom in mixed reality where like you're getting like the Doom monsters like invading your office and you're blasting away at them. That's what we need. Is that kind of game.
That would be kind of neat. Playing original Doom on a headset. That might be neat. That might be
in your own environment in mixed reality would be cool. I think that's what we need. Xbox Consulting too. Aztec Consulting says the Xbox client works on Quest now, which is really cool. So
later this year. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, anything that you see him doing on this watch, you can do in your VR headset. You connect the controller to your VR headset. You install the Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Cloud thing that with your Game Pass on it. And any games that they have in the cloud that are streamable, you can play on the VR headset in 2D. So
nice.
Yeah, it is nice because you can just kick back on the couch, make a virtual monitor up on the wall somewhere, and play your old school games in the comfort of your VR headset. So cool stuff there. I can't wait to get mine. Honestly, can't. And
I'm sure you can't, Ed.
I will be playing with it this weekend. The rub is we're going to be doing some Blazor Power Hour with the VR headset. And
there you
go. What we're going to try to do is build some, progressive web app with Blazor, and then deploy that to the VR headset. Because did you know, John, that you can put PWAs in the Quest store? And they will run on the headset. And
I know now.
You could also build APKs with Maui and run those in 2D on the VR headset. I don't know what model you've got there, but it's come a long way. It's pretty slim.
It's pretty awesome, actually. I got to tell you, it's all happening in my room now. So there you
go. Quest 3, from what I hear, is
this my avatar.
Pretty impressive. The the size is slimmer, the battery's decent. You don't have to have like an external battery pack, and it's 1/7 the price of a Vision Pro. So we'll check it out on the show next time we meet up, John. Like I said, I don't know if I'll have time for a show next week. I leave the following Sunday, so I think Thursday, Friday, we're going to be getting ready to pack and leave for DevReach, which is in Sofia, Bulgaria. So, and then I will be there for a week. When I come back, we'll have a show, and we'll do VR, and we'll talk about Bulgaria and all the cool stuff that I saw. Such a place with so much rich history. I know you've been.
Yep.
I can't wait to go back. It's been since the pandemic since I've been there, and I haven't had a proper Shopska salad in a while.
Nice.
And you got to stock up on all of the Bulgarian colorful salt that you can fit in a suitcase, so you don't run out of that throughout the year.
And gotta get some rakia, and I enjoy Sofia immensely for its wonderful airport. It's got the most lovely announcement jingle I have ever heard at an airport. When you go to airports, it's constant. Like, I think in America they standardize the jingle basically, but every airport I go to, internationally or domestically, they've got a jingle that says, "Please be aware to do whatever," sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the one in Bulgaria, the one in Sofia Airport, is especially inspiring because it sounds like it's right out of the 80s and right behind the wall and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's like everything's depressing. Just do what we tell you, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the only thing I would knock about Sofia. That was my first impression. I walked in the airport and I heard that. I was like, oh, wow.
The border patrol there is pretty nice because it's like,
yes.
Do you want to throw your suitcase on this scanner and have us check it? If not, just walk past us. We're good.
Yes, that's right.
Like, we're not worried about you.
Yeah. Guys often, standing there, whatever. Guys just shrugging. Yeah, it's up to you, whatever.
All right, John, I will talk to you soon. And thanks, everybody. All right. All of the links are posted up on my LinkedIn. If you want to catch the links, just go there and you can hit them up directly. Again, I highly recommend the Adobe Max thing. It's just from a tech perspective.
That's pretty awesome.
I was in awe today. So we will see you soon. Any last words, John?
Oh, go forth and be awesome.
All right. Take care, everybody.